Hey pals, Kirill Vitkovsky here, and today we are going to discuss how to modify the style of your own image, drawing, photograph, or any other visual representation it might be. I have been asked about this several times already, and it is time to show how it is done. It is actually pretty simple. Now let's examine the outcomes I obtained. I was able to generate a substantial number of prompts. And if you can't wait, then go to the time code in the description and come directly to the review of the method and the prompts themselves. I would like to show you some examples of what I have got. First and foremost, I had a few incoming images that I would like to share with you. The first picture is a portrait of a girl. Next up, we have a modern futuristic train. There is a castle with small pagodas, and in the distance we can see this wonderful knight standing with his back towards us. I want to point out separately that all these images were also made in Leonardo. And this method, which I'm going to talk about now, is also implemented in Leonardo. Of course, in order for you to be able to change the style of the image, you gotta have some high-quality prompts, which you can find in the description of this video. And the alchemy mode needs to be enabled, which is only accessible on accounts that have been paid for. So keep in mind, if you want to truly get high-quality images and stability, it's possible to do it in Leonardo, but you need to pay for your account. Alright, let's compare what we've got. On the left will be the incoming images, and on the right will be the images that were obtained with a changed style. The first item is children's gouache, and it is followed by technical drawing. As you can see, the good, interesting thin lines in the artwork have a very architectural quality to them, making it all look visually captivating. The subsequent stage involves expressive painting, linear graphics, graffiti, watercolor, and charcoal, each representing different artistic techniques. The Soviet mosaic style and Chinese painting exhibit striking differences in terms of style and outcomes. However, despite these disparities, it is evident that the original picture has been preserved, which is truly fascinating to observe. So with architecture, with nature, with something similar, the method works 100%. It turns out really cool. Let's move on to the second example. The second example portrays a knight. Hey, check it out. The first style resembles kiddie paint in terms of its simplicity and vibrancy. What are we receiving? First and foremost, the character has undergone some changes. Instead of a shield, he has acquired this large and absurd bag, and new elements have emerged in the form of abstract figures and circles, as well as strokes and so forth. But overall, it looks really childish, a bit naive, and quite cute. But keep in mind that changing the style in Leonardo can somehow make adjustments to the original image. It all depends on what is in your prompt. Specifically in this prompt, we were discussing a children's drawing, so certain characteristics of a children's drawing, as basic as they may be, are present here. Afterwards, the technical drawing ended up looking quite cool. It was a true representation of what it actually was. Expressive painting has the right to exist, looks fresh, linear graph. Graffiti. Pay attention. In addition to the fact that we have obtained some additional elements in the form of some rather abstract glyphs, our knight himself has also undergone changes. He got himself some kind of coat, he became more modern, he got himself a cap, and instead of a sword, he has some kind of stick. Well, my friend, at least in trendy sneakers. Moving on, let's talk about watercolor and, of course, coal. Coal is amazing, I reckon, and the style of Soviet mosaic is also noteworthy. And once again, please pay attention to the clothing items. Leonard made a small mistake in this situation. Instead of creating these amazing suits of armor, he ended up making a peacoat. And for an inexplicable reason, he made a skirt from underneath it in this particular place. Maybe he had the notion that it was a woman. I am not aware, let's maintain confidentiality. And Chinese painting. When it comes to Chinese painting, everything appears quite satisfactory as well, but instead of a sword, we possess this bamboo stick. I might even go so far as to say a bamboo cross. However, in one way or another, it appears to be satisfactory. Now, let's proceed to the subsequent choice, which happens to be a train. Initially, the image, as you can observe, is realistic, and we promptly examine the outcomes of modifying the style to assess the impact. Watercolor. Watercolor always looks awesome. She's fresh, airy, she's really nice to look at. She turns out to be sunny. Next up, we have a kitty drawing. Yeah, it's a pretty basic technique to work with. Bright colors. This is all in line with the concept of a child's drawing. Next up, the technical drawing. Looks not bad. Possesses such a mix of styles. There is both linear drafting and washout graphics present in this particular piece. Appears relevant indeed. The next step involves creating an expressive painting, although it resembles a child's drawing to some extent. However, we can overlook this and let it be. Linear graph. We see a large number of different decorative elements, especially in the interior of this platform. Here we have lines, there are lines everywhere. So basically, yeah, it's linear graphics, but I'd like more lines, fewer fillings. Following that, we have graffiti style. It's actually pretty good, dude. It's an unexpected decision, in my opinion, because I had no idea it would end up like this. Next, coal. The coal appears somewhat dirty in this particular instance. I genuinely appreciate the end result. Soviet mosaic style. Looks cool. There's a good mix of small and large elements here. Hey, please take a look. We have identified some small patterns here, and on top of that, we have the big ones. They emphasize the geometry of the train itself. And they emphasize the geometry of the train itself. Well, I mean, Leonardo is not a fool. He does it pretty well. Next, the style of Chinese painting. I seriously doubt that there are similar plots with modern trains in Chinese painting. However, Leonardo knows how to contemplate and rationalize on this matter, and he devised such an alternative. However, it actually appears quite good. That is the end of it. That is all with the train. And finally, a beautiful, adorable girl. Here we go once more, a Neuro girl, manufactured in Leonardo. However, with the girl and with any other characters, the outcomes, in my personal opinion, are not the best ones. Now you will understand the reason. This is a drawing made by a child. It is a typotechnical sketch, showcasing the creativity of young minds. Artistic painting that expresses emotions, graph represented with straight lines, colorful graffiti art. Watercolor, coal, and Soviet mosaic are the artistic techniques and materials employed in the artwork. As you can observe, from one picture to another, Leonardo makes slight alterations to the silhouettes and outlines of the face. So in this case, the nose underwent a slight transformation, becoming slightly more elongated. Therefore, when modifying the style of the image using genuine pre-existing characters, it is advisable to carefully consider the changes before proceeding. Because you will not obtain an exact replica, because Leonardo consistently modifies them slightly during the process of creation. That is the complete extent of it. Now let us proceed to the actual technique and learn how it is executed in practice. I managed to generate quite a few prompts with different styles. They ended up with a whopping 9 of them. You can locate all the prompts in the video description. And we proceed straight to Leonardo. We are solely concerned with 2 functions at the moment. The primary function is image guidance. We need to upload the source of your image at this location in order to proceed. So it's like the image that will be the basis of your future generation with a different style. For this purpose, I use this amazing not quite alive astronaut. We load it into this small window and ensure to choose the appropriate type. In this particular scenario, we select the edge to image type for further processing. If you are employed at Stable Diffusion and have knowledge about a function named ControlNet, that is actually the case. The same ControlNet, just in Leonardo, make sure to put some weight on it. I wouldn't recommend setting the weight of this image to less than 1. The larger the size, the more your image will resemble the original in terms of appearance and details. But when it comes to characters, you are going to have some changes in their looks no matter what. Alright, moving forward, we are selecting a model. You have the freedom to choose any and explore in various ways. I genuinely appreciated the Leonardo Diffusion XL the most, and the style, preset, and illustration were all impressive. Subsequently, you just need to type in the provided prompt here and obtain your fascinating results. The prompt that I currently possess is in regards to charcoal. And let us take a closer look at the specific details of what he generated for me. Well, objectively, it turned out quite satisfactory. And mind you, this is even without the universal upscale, which significantly enhances the overall image quality. I will not even bother showing it to him, because it would be on the level of really good, possibly even comparable to academic artists. So, what should be included in the promptee? Make certain that there is no mention of specific scenes, specific locations, characters, colors, or any other specific details and so on in your prompt. Ensure that your prompt is general and does not include any specific information. The captions positioned underneath the video exclusively describe the style of the drawing, painting, or any other visual art, but they do not have any influence on the actual plot or storyline of the video content itself. This is the most important thing, for your image to remain as close as possible to how it originally changed. So go ahead and give it a try, and be sure to share in the comments what style you'd like to replicate with your images. I'll do my best to come up with a universal prompt for that purpose. And of course, make sure to subscribe to the Sexy Prompt channel, where you can get inspired by our prompts and subscribe on YouTube. We look forward to seeing you soon.